Okay, hey there friendos, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, it's your boy Matt, and we're back with some more Marvel Future Fight, and in today's video we're looking at the patch notes for the upcoming Fear Itself update. So first things first, just want to say, the last video there seemed to be some confusion thinking I was completely ragging on the update. I wasn't ragging on the update, I was just a little bit worried due to the quality of the sneak peek video. I obviously didn't bother doing a video just for the key art itself, but it looks like those were taken from an earlier render of the characters before they had their final finishing touches applied with their uniforms, and clearly they're looking a lot better now. Now I'd much rather be happy than right, and it looks like everyone's going to be happy because the uniforms have been finished now and they look amazing. I'd like to see a scaled up version of that video now using the new uniforms now that they're fully finished, fully rendered, but that's besides the point. So anyway, let's get into it, and let's get into the actual meat and potatoes, as it were, of this update. And let's start with the uniforms. So we've got some good surprises and less good surprises coming up in today's video. So let's start with the uniforms, and let's start with Hulk. Obviously we know Hulk is getting his tier 4, so he's going to get a massive stat increase, he's going to get a massive boost in power, and we're hoping that that's going to be really potentially great for PvP. So we can start off by seeing that sadly he is still a villain. That's natural for this update, it being Fear itself and all the characters being villains. It's a shame that we don't get any justice for Hulk as a hero, but considering the situation between Marvel Studios, the MCU, Disney and Universal, who still have the licensing rights to Hulk, which is why we've never seen much of a single standalone film since 2008, it's no surprise. So I'm not sure if that means we're ever going to see a decent hero uniform for him, but we can hope. Fingers crossed. Anyway, let's get into his actual skill changes with his new uniform, and it is great to see that a lot of people were worried about it, whether or not they would change him back. But if we have a quick look down, we can see that not only does he keep a lot of the similar sort of skills that he had as he was, with the HP recovery on his passive when he gets enraged, but all of his skills still do damage as a percentage of HP as opposed to a physical attack. So everyone who had him currently built for PvP, which I know a lot of us have with the Immortal Hulk uniform, everyone had a lot of HP or the heal double HP Urus on him. We can keep those, we don't have to worry about completely rebuilding our characters, so that is fantastic. It looks like he's going to be kept very much for PvP. We also see that he does have some PvE potential with the chain hit being added as a passive, and then he does have burn, silence, fracture, paralysis, so he could potentially have some utility in ABX as well. Obviously with the power creep of being a tier 4, he's going to be massively improved on where he currently stands at the moment, but as it is, we'll just have to wait and see if we get him in game. But very excited for his PvP potential. Moving on, we have Juggernaut, who, again, despite what some people are going to be happy or sad about, he is classed as a mutant. I know that there is some about whether or not he should technically be classed as a mutant or not, but in the game he is, and so that's what we go with. Again, this uniform, being the first uniform I believe for Juggernaut, it looks like it's going to really improve and beef him up. We have a lot of HP recovery on all of his skills. We can see changing defense down as a passive, I'm not sure about that, but everything else looks great. HP recovery, all looks very solid, and I think just the fact that he needs the tankiness and the transcended skill to get to the ultimate level of content should be really good. We'll see how it compares with Black Dwarf. Titania looks fantastic. We get a huge increase of HP, super armor as a uniform effect, which is great. And now this is where it gets really spicy. Her leadership, 60% of physical attack. Her passive to allies with strong abilities, which she has, increases all attacks by 25%, so that's 85%. Then her tier 2 passive gives her a further 30%, so that's like a whopping 115% damage increase On top of that, she gets HP recovery. Then we see her first skill, she gets a V-pad skill. Then she gets a counter attack on her third, and even more spicily, true accumulation, which normally only goes to 100%. With her, it goes to 150%. So this is potentially looking pretty good. This could be an actual really big drive towards seeing some actual combat female meta, especially when you consider that coming up soon we have She-Hulk and Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, getting their Disney Plus show uniform. Well, touch wood. Hopefully that's what we'll be getting. So yeah, very exciting. We shall see what happens with her, but I gotta say, I think it's looking pretty spicy. I think that she's going to have a lot of potential in PvE and maybe PvP too. We shall have to wait and see. Obviously, numbers are one thing, and obviously how it actually plays out is another. But it's looking good. And from looking good to looking like, wow, you're looking like Deadpool without the mask, let's be honest. Poor old Absorbing Man. I mean, the actual character model does look great. He does look fantastic. But yeah, that is a face only a mother could love. And it's worrying because obviously so far we've got a combat villain in Hulk. Most people are going to give love to because he can go to tier 4. We've got a mutant male, so at least Juggernaut has some sort of, delineation between himself and Hulk there, and Titania's a female. But Absorbing Man, I really hope he's good. I hope he looks good. It's interesting that he has got HP recovery on every single one of his skills, so they're really trying to beef him up. I'm still not sure if that's going to be enough on its own, even with the chain hit and the accumulation. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to see him do anything outside of, Alliance Conquest and maybe Shadowland, but we shall wait and see. Like I said, I'd much rather be happy than right, and if he is meta, then that's going to be even better for him. I just feel that he might be overshadowed by the other characters in this update. We shall see. So then we have the Transcended skills. Again, it looks very much copy and paste. Unfortunately, we see this a lot with all the Transcended skills these days. And then we move on to the Hulk, who has overwhelming power, which is a very interesting skill because it does damage to the enemy, but depending on who has the higher HP, it's either going to really hurt people who have got a lot higher HP than you, or it's not going to do as much damage to those with lower HP than you. So that's going to be super interesting for PvP. And then we get to the main event, as it were. And this is where a lot of people are going to be worried. Now, I don't want to say that I was right, but it does look like it's going to be a good month of playing against Gore before we get his bios. Because as we can see here, there's no mention about gaining his bios or getting him unlocked as a playable character at the moment. We are getting him at World Boss Legend, which is great, and like I surmised, there is a thing where you're either going to have to pay crystals to play him day 1, or you're going to have to beat current game content to unlock him. So that's beating Mephisto, Null and Infinity Ultron 5 times each. So there is that. However, we are getting a drop of a CTP of Judgment with him. He is going to be a legend. It's interesting, they were talking earlier about increasing the level, but they haven't done so. So he's going to be fitting right in alongside Ultron, Mephisto and Null. They aren't making an extreme where they're going to have more drops and bigger drops, which is a shame. I know a lot of us were kind of hoping maybe tier 4 materials would drop with him. But there we go. It still looks very exciting nonetheless, so we shall see how it plays out. Of course, we have artifacts, as is the case with all new updates. We have artifacts for all our characters. Hulk's one looks ridiculously more broken because it gives him even more HP. So expect to come up against some real monsters in timeline battle. That's really going to be crucial. If you get a 6-star artifact for Hulk, it's going to really help you. Future Pass, same as always. We have some nice icons. Unfortunately, Google Chrome is only showing me the Hulk one, but the Spidey and the Silver Surfer ones look very cool as well. We have a bunch of bug fixes and UI, I hasten to say improvements, because it's talking about locking and enhancing characters, which is a bit worrying. I can see people accidentally forging bios they don't mean to, so we'll have to see how that works in game. And unfortunately still don't have the chance to rank up those type enhancement tickets, which we all get from story mode. And then a bunch of game error fixes as well, which is kind of standard as well. So mostly exciting, mostly good. I think there are a couple of things where people were getting a bit too overexcited for this update, expecting to actually get Gore playable and have his bios drop. However, I think a lot of us knew at the time that we would have at least a month of having him as a boss before we were able to actually get him playable in game. So very exciting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And yeah, we'll have to wait until the update to see what's next. But take care for now. Catch you next time.